Hey, what up everyone? I'm Sinnycool, and this is Gems of War. And today I want to go over the top 10 wastes of time in Gems of War. These 10 things you should not be doing. There are plenty of other things you could be doing that'll help your account way more. So if you're doing any of these 10 things, consider not doing them and doing something else. And this will be controversial. This will be ranting and raving most likely. I probably can't help myself on this one, so it's going to be one of those. But let's get down to the first biggest waste of time in Gems of War. And some of y'all are probably going to know some of these, but some of them you may not. And you may disagree with some of them you may not. Make sure you leave a comment and let me know how you feel. Number 1 is Treasure Hunt. Treasure Hunt is a waste of time throughout the whole game. Doesn't matter what level you are, beginner, mid-game, late game. Treasure Hunt is a waste of time. It's an antiquated game mode that they haven't updated, so it's a big waste of time. There's not enough resources. If you play it well, it takes way too long, and you still don't get a lot of resources. If you purposely try to get the battles over as quick as possible, you end up with like 1 gem, and it was a waste of time. You could do many other things that would be more beneficial with your time. Other reasons: there's no troops, there's no storms, the way you match the gems is completely different, it doesn't help you learn the game at all. If anything, it's a completely different game. So if you're going to play Treasure Hunt, you might as well go play a whole completely different game. It's just not worth doing. You could do anything else in the game, and even Arena would be better than Treasure Hunt in that you will get better at the game. You'll play with troops. It forces you to use troops you never use. It teaches you about spells and all kinds of stuff. How to play the game, how to match gems on the board. Like, you have to be very good at matching gems on the board to win an Arena, so it helps you practice for the main game. And the rewards suck for Arena, don't get me wrong. But Treasure Hunt, they suck just as bad, and it's not even Gems of War. It's a completely different game. So do not waste your time playing Treasure Hunt. It is not worth it, no matter what anybody says. It just isn't. And if you are trying to, catch a little break and play something different, and, you're getting bored of Gems, well, go play a different game, because that's pretty much the same thing as playing Treasure Hunt. Alright, what is number 2? Number 2... in my opinion, I tried to make these to where, there's a controversial one and then a not-so-controversial one, and then, because I know some of these are going to get some people heated up. But, I would say not being in a guild or starting your own guild is a big waste of time. If you're not in a guild, you're missing out on all the guild tasks, you're missing out on all the guild events where you get tons of rewards. I mean, check out A Matter of Faith here. Look at all these rewards that I got. I could have done the bare minimum here and still got all of these rewards. You get stats for being in a guild, you get mastery for being in a guild, you get guild tasks for being in a guild, you get the guild seal chests, you can get mythics, legendaries. It's 29 other people combining their resources, and you just get 30 times everything. So if you're not in a guild, you are minus 29 timesing your account. It's crazy. So make sure you're in a guild at all times, even if you have to join just some random guild. It is totally worth it. I mean, look at that. Look at all the stats I'm getting. All basic tasks complete. 6 attack, 16 HP, 16 armor, and 4 magic. That's for everything I do in the entire game. Plus just all the rewards that I've received from being in the guild, from guild tasks and all that. All the events, the guild seal chest, etc. Definitely be in a guild, and then starting your own guild is not advised. This game has been going for 7, 8, 9 years now. Other guilds, excuse me. Other guilds have a way longer jump on you. It takes too long to build up a new guild. It's not. I mean, if you want to play on hard mode, make your own guild. It's cool. If you have nothing else to do and you've done with everything else and you just want to make your own guild for fun, that's one thing. But if you're going to make a guild because a couple of your buddies want to leave the current guild you're in, and your idea is to make a new guild, it's not the way to go. You're never going to get up into bracket 1 and 2 in Guild Wars. You're going to start way down. It's way too slow to move up the brackets. You'll never get there unless you're going to play for 20 years. The stats, the masteries, the levels, the everything, man. Just starting a new guild is not worth the effort these days. Maybe 5 years ago it was, but nowadays, don't start your own new guild. Just go join some random guild and try to become the guild leader of it. That's way easier than starting up your own new guild. Just lots of headaches. Being a guild leader is a bunch of headaches. getting people into the guild, people leaving, people arguing. Like, it's not going to be a good thing. So just trust me. Do not start your own guild, and make sure you're always in some sort of guild, or you might as well quit the game, because it's that much of a detriment to not be in a guild or to start your own guild. All right, number 3. We just had a Tower of Doom, and the Tower of Doom leaderboard is a huge waste of time and resources. You come out with a net negative. So if you're ever going for the Tower of Doom leaderboard, it's a big waste of time. If you're ever going above floor 26 in Tower of Doom, it's a big waste of time. You don't get scrolls past floor 26. The reward for getting first freaking place. Have you ever got first place in a guild event leaderboard? Well, the reward is 500 gems and some copies of the Doom. There's not even a major orb. There's not even a minor orb. There's not a power orb. There's nothing good for winning that leaderboard. It's like the Idiot Olympics. You should not go after the Tower of Doom leaderboard. My recommendation, just go to floor 26. That's when the scrolls stop. We have orbs that give us scrolls now. You don't need to buy way up in the shop anymore. That's another antiquated thing people used to do. Don't do that now. You're going to get, right now's the vault event. Do the vault event super hard if you need scrolls. You're going to get orbs that give you the scrolls. And it's just not worth it. There's only a couple doomed weapons that are even good enough to fully upgrade anyway. You're going to talk about kingdom level and power. Well, it's still a big waste of gems and time to go to the Tower of Doom leaderboard. It's not going to give you, anything. It's going to be a total loss. 500 gems if you get first place. If you don't get first place, you get like 300 gems. And guess how much you have to... Every single person in the guild has to invest way more than 500 gems to win the Tower of Doom leaderboard. So it's a big waste of time. It's a net negative for everybody in your guild. And the only people that should go any higher than floor 26 are people that are in a bad guild, and they have to put all the weight on their own shoulders and to go up that high to just complete the event because nobody else is helping. Or if you're a scout, like if you're a scout, you probably have to buy up a little higher in the shop, but you probably don't need to go any higher than floor 26. But yeah, Tower of Doom leaderboard is a big waste of time, and it's a net negative, and you lose gems, you lose resources for going for that leaderboard. All right, number 4. All right, so right now we have a vault event, and this one's going to be controversial. I think the most controversial so far. But doing pets during a vault event is a big waste of time, in my opinion. The vault event is the best place to get all resources in the game, pretty much. There's just a couple that you can't get, like writs and deeds and books. But for everything else, gold, souls, orbs, tarot cards, all kinds of stuff, key, everything, glory, every other resource that you're looking for, vault keys, verses, every other resource you're looking for this is the time. So do not be like stopping your vault event to go do pets. I know a lot of guilds do this because right now you can get a lot of like pet gnomes, and it's a great time to go get copies of pets, but it's a waste of time when you're using Ironhawk, and Ironhawk's getting like at least 10 battles done a minute, and you're like, oh, here's a pet now, so everybody stop the groove that you're making. You're supposed to make a groove and just keep going and going and going with the Ironhawks on Explorer 1. Do Nomapaloozas, do Explorer 1, Ironhawks, Rowan. Make a groove, keep going. Like, don't stop the momentum. If you stop the momentum to do a random pet, and then you take your 5 minutes or whatever to do the pet, I can do a pet in 3 minutes, but I'm just thinking like, the world record is like 2 minutes and something, so I'm going to say most people, it takes you around 5 minutes to complete a pet rescue, right? So, if you can do 10 Ironhawk battles, and that's like putting it low, so I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt here. 10 Ironhawk battles in a minute times 5 minutes. That's 50 battles. You know how many Nomapalooza gnomes you would have seen in that amount of time? You know how many gnomes you would have seen in that amount of time? Like, on top of that, like the stopping and the starting, that'll cost you a couple minutes. Let's report it to the guild. Let's go to an outside chat or the guild chat and report a pet. Oh, Small Pekka is here, everybody. It's up right now for this next whatever minutes. Like, that takes you a couple minutes too, right? So in total, you probably end up wasting about 10 minutes of your vault event between doing the pet, talking about the pet, and stopping your groove and getting out of your momentum and having to start and stop your vault event grind. I would say 10 minutes times 10, you know what I mean? 10 battles, Ironhawk each minute. That's a lot of battles. 100 freaking battles that you could have been doing while you're doing all that pet business. And how many gnomes would you have seen? How many Gnomapalooza gnomes? Like, even just regular gnomes if you're not running Gnomapaloozas. You're missing out on vault keys, you're missing out on resources, you're stopping to do a pet and to get one copy. Like, how often do you get more than 1 or 2 or 3 copies? So a pet that you need 30-something copies of, you're going to go stop your Iron Hawking for 10 minutes to miss out on 100 battles to go do a pet where you get 1 copy. And now you still need 30 freaking copies of it. There's pet orbs now, orbs of minion. So you're stopping the grind of the vault where you could potentially get orbs of minion. You're like, you know, stealing from Peter to pay Paul. It's weird. So don't do it anymore. Like, it was cool back in the day, like when the vault wasn't as good, before pity keys, before Gnomapaloozas, before Iron Hawks. Like, it was a thing. Another antiquated thing people still do that I just don't agree with. You should not stop your vault event grind to go get 1 copy of a pet you need 30 copies of. You're going to get orbs of minions. Come on. Stop it. Stop doing that. The guy that's telling you to do this is probably your guild leader, who probably has mountains and mountains and mountains of resources, and all they need now is pets. So they're trying to get everybody on board to report the pets and do the pets during a vault event, because it's the best time to get pets, right? To get that 1 copy of that 1 pet that you probably don't even need. And if you do, it's 1 copy when you need like 30 of them. So I think it's really stupid, and there's people out there gaslighting and like encouraging people to do the pets during the vault event because they need pets. You probably need gems, right? You probably need gold. You probably need souls. You probably need orbs. You probably need orbs of minions. You probably don't need that pet. Do you really need that 1 copy instead of a vault key, instead of an orb? You need that 1 copy of a pet that you still are going to need like 30 more copies of? No. So don't do it. Just do the vault. Vault. Screw the pets. Alright, what's number 5? Chat. So this kind of goes along with this one. Stopping a vault event grind to go chat about a pet that you're going to get 1 copy of that you still need 30 copies of. Going and chatting in global. It's toxic. The only acceptable place is like guild chat, I would say. Like, of course, this one's going to be... Some people come to this game and look for social interaction, so this isn't like, you know, dedicated to you. It's just, in my opinion, it's a waste of time to like over chat in this game. To go into global and argue with people, to cause drama in your guild, like licking each other's earlobes and whispering in the background and telling, "Ooh, did you hear what this guy did? Guess what? Look at that. Look at him. He gets last place all the time. Hey, how come he didn't kick out that guy, but he kicked out this guy? Hey, if you leave the guild and come join my guild, yeah. Hey, I'm a complete stranger on the internet. You should listen to me." No, don't do that. It's a big waste of time. It causes drama. It's going to give you anxiety, and you could be playing the game. You could be running the vault event. Go, like, join a message board or go do a Discord. Go do something else if you want to chitty chat. I feel like Gems of War is a big waste of time to go to global and argue with people, to go in the guild chat and whisper in each other's ears about other guild members, to make an outside external chat to talk crap about people in your guild or whatever. Like, it's a huge waste of time. And I've seen it over and over and over cause drama and lead to people leaving guilds or getting mad at people, you know? So just don't do it. It's a big waste of time. Unless you're thick-skinned, unless you don't get gaslit easily, these strangers telling you things on the internet, as long as you don't believe everything everyone says. Like, maybe, if you come to this game to be social, that's one thing. But just know you're wasting time by doing that. It is a waste of time. Even if you still do it, and you want to do it, and you like to socialize, you gotta agree with me that it is a big waste of time while you're sitting there typing out big paragraphs when you could be doing the vault event or something. So yeah, guild chat, global chat, external chats, causes drama and is a big waste of time. Strangers on the internet telling you things that aren't true, most likely. Alright, somebody you've known for like 6 months telling you something about somebody you've known for 6 years. Alright, number 6. We have challenges. Challenges are a big waste of time, in my opinion. Now, this one comes with like a caveat, of course. It's not always a waste of time. But if you're doing challenges, if you're doing like the Tier 4 challenge, the Tier 5 challenge, when there's a vault event going on, for example, when you could be farming metals, you could be doing something in the delves, you could be doing your PvP to Tier 1, you could be opening vault keys, you could be... There's so many things like you could always be doing instead of this. that is just like the lowest priority. So every day, like look at today, I need to do my adventure board. I need to do my dungeon, right? I need to do my spring into action event, okay? And then there's a guild event too, right? So I got to do that. Matter of Faith. There is PvP to get the PvP to tier 1 each week. I got 3 turns of the Underworld. I got to do my City of Thieves 3 times a day or whatever I'm doing down here, right? Then the Vault event's going on top of that. So if I'm doing challenges right now, I'm completely wasting my time. Vault event is a like bad example. Let's say it was like a faction or like raids or invasion. You've got that to do as well. Then there's merchants and angels. There's farming metals. There's opening vault keys. So many other things you could be doing that challenges just is the last thing you should be doing. The only time challenges are important are like very early in the game. You could do the first challenge, like the second challenge, because you go to the path of least resistance. So if the world quest is super hard, you could go do like the first challenges, get yourself some souls, maybe even do the second challenge, because it's going to be the path of least resistance. It's going to be easy to do. You can get it done, level up, get some souls while you're doing it, get some glory. But once you're past that, once you're past like the tutorial of the game, you shouldn't do challenges again until it pops up on your kingdom level and power. And even then, it's like not that big of a deal. You just do it real quick and you're done. And only do it when it pops up and you can immediately get a star. And I wouldn't even do that until I was done with everything else for the day, because that's always going to be there. Challenges are always going to be there for you. Spring into action isn't always going to be there for you. Vault event's not always going to be there for you. The world event's not always going to be there for you. Getting to tier 1 this week isn't always going to be there for you So challenges will always be there for you, and you don't need to do them until it's like the last thing you're doing. If it's either the very first thing you're doing for the path of least resistance when you're like level freaking 100 or 50, or it's like the last thing you're doing when you're level 1450 and you need it for a kingdom power. If you're anywhere in the middle, if you're anywhere between level like 300 and like 1250, you should not be doing any kind of challenges. It's a big waste of time. It's the last thing you can do. Last thing you should do every day. So it's still something you could do each day, but make sure you do all those other things I said. Adventure board, dungeon, opening vault keys, farming metals, underworld 3 times a day, everything. PvP to tier 1, the guild event, the daily event. There's so many things you can do each day. I don't even know how you have time to do challenges, and I only do them when they pop up and it's time to get a star. And even then, I'm like, man, that's going to be the last thing I do today. I'm going to get a star to get a little bit of tribute or a little bit of this or that. Doesn't even give you a stat ever. Usually, when you're doing challenges, it's for like star 21 or something. It's never a soft cap. It's never giving you a stat. So it's never like super worth it. If you did all the challenges, you just wasted a bunch of time. And you could have been doing many, many other things. You probably don't have 3 Nisha medals. You probably don't have Zul'Goth. You probably don't have Diamantina. You probably have a real small gem stack, but you got all the challenges done, like, yay. Alright, what's number 7? Alright, number 7, this one might be the most controversial. I don't know why people defend this so much, but they do. But any kind of defend team, like wasting a bunch of time on your defense, it's not a big deal, especially here in PvP. Like, you don't get anything, really, for having a good defend team in PvP. More people are going to fight you if you have like 4 fire bombs, or you have the campaign, like the campaign tasks ask for a certain troop. If you have that, if people see that you have a stupid like sweaty wrestler team that the main goal is to make the battle super long and have people retreat, then they're going to not fight you. And the more times people don't fight you, the less resources you're going to get. The more times people choose you because you have 4 fire bombs, or you have that campaign task troop, or you have like some treasure team or something, the more times they choose you, the more revenge battles you get when you do PvP, the more rival battles you get when you do PvP, the more honors you're going to get, because people will be like, thank you so much, here's an honor, here's a high five since you gave me the campaign troop, the task troop. Whenever you do like a sweaty wrestler team that has like a bunch of summons on it and hee hee ha ha, you're making someone mad, they're never going to fight you again, they're not going to give you an honor, and you're going to get way less battles. Then in Guild Wars, if you're not in Bracket 1, you're not in Bracket 2, you're not the Paragon, then Guild Wars defense don't matter as much as you think they do. They don't score any points. Guild Wars defend teams do not score any points. You set 24 different defends, that's when you get your points. You get 2,000 points a day every time you fight the first battle of the day for setting 24 different troops on your defend teams. That's the end of it, period. You don't get any more points after that. If your Guild Wars defend team just murders everybody, which it won't and never will, if it murders everybody and goes 50-0, you don't get extra points for that. Just, I know it's nice to like defend, like repel people and have them not win and everything, but you're not getting points for that. Just know that. Like, no matter what your Guild Wars defend team does, you're not getting extra points for that. It's nice to defend them. It's nice to make them lose and stuff. But if you're not at Paragon, if you're not in bracket 1 or 2, you're not getting that many fights. If you're like the soldier on the bottom of a bracket 100 Guild Wars, a guild, you're going to fight like one person, 2 people maybe. So why are you wasting all this time making Guild Wars defend teams for that one guy to fight you? And he's probably going to win because it's really hard to win on defense, even if you have the best teams. So the only people that should be worried about Guild Wars defend teams are bracket, if you're in bracket 1, everybody in bracket 1, everybody in bracket 2, you know, maybe even bracket 3. But outside of that, only like Paragons should worry about that. Paragons face everybody, so they should worry about their defense. If you're a soldier on the bottom of the team, you're going to fight like one person. So how much time did you spend on your defend team sitting there testing it over and over and over with smoke blowing out your ears when one guy fought you and they beat you? Because it's really hard to win when the AI is controlling your team. So even if you do awesome on Guild Wars Defend, first of all, you don't get any points for it. No extra points. Second of all, the AI did it, not you. So good job AI, not good job you. And yeah, it's just a big waste of time. So don't like spend a ton of time on it. Copy paste, you know, take teams that beat you, use those. The only time you should worry about is bracket 1 and 2 and Paragon. Everybody else should just copy paste some teams in there and just do really good on your offense. Offense is where you're going to gain points and score better and move up, is offense. So concentrate 99% of your efforts on your offensive team and then 1% of the effort on your defensive team. We got people like 25% on their defense and 75% on their offense. Then they're going 4-1 and they're celebrating when they like beat one person on defense. You know, you would have made way more points if you just would have went 5-0 instead of making that other person not go 5-0. So anyway, any kind of defend is a big waste of time in my opinion. It should be something you do very quickly and for very specific people. All right, number 8. This one, another controversial one. It's kind of a bunch of them put together, but the thing I wrote down was teams with no hero. So you're going to see on YouTube a lot of the times, like teams with no hero on it. And the only time you should do that is when you have all the classes to 100. So even I, right here, probably shouldn't be doing it. But I have all the fire classes to 100, so I make an exception. Phoenicia, Fomag team, doesn't use a hero. That's because it's only good with fire classes. And I already have every single fire class to 100. So I didn't do this team at all until I had every single fire class to 100. That's Sun Spear, Slayer, Dragon Guard, Hierophant, Diabolist, Warlord. Do you have all those to 100? If you do, then go ahead and use this. If you don't, you're wasting time, and you shouldn't do that. You should be leveling up all those classes. If you see somebody on YouTube using a team with no heroes, guess what? They probably have all their classes to 100. They're allowed to do that. If you don't have all your classes to 100, you're supposed to, like, try to get all your classes to 100. So I know it's not ideal, but it's just the way the game is. So it feels like you're not doing something right when you're not getting some sort of class experience while you're doing things. So as much as you can, make sure you're leveling some sort of class while you're doing everything. I know here and there you have to use a specific class to do certain teams, and here and there, like the Fomag team. So it's not like a hard and fast rule, but just as much as you can, make sure you're using some sort of class you don't have to 100 whenever you can, so you can get everything to 100. And then you can start using teams with no hero. Then you can start using teams with whatever class is best for it. It's just, you gotta, like, over time get those to 100. Going along with that is gold farming and soul farming. Big waste of time these days. It's totally antiquated. You don't need to do it anymore. Right now's the vault event. Now's the time to gold and soul farm. If you do the vault event right, you will have no need to gold and soul farm. Let me find some old soul farming team or something here. New soul farm from a million years ago. Yeah, this is just an antiquated way to do things. You don't need souls that bad. Like, don't level up every troop that you get. You know what I'm saying? Like, only get troops to 20 or at max level that you're going to use. So your Goblin team, your Rowan team, your Truffle Shuffle team, your Guardian teams, stuff like that. Those are the teams you're going to level everything to 20. Just because you open a bunch of troops, keys, a bunch of chests, doesn't mean you need to level every troop to 20 that you get out of those chests. Kingdom level and power is something that you're going to do over time along your whole career of the game. It's not something you like hurry up and do at the beginning of the game or mid-game or anything. Like, I'm still doing it now. It's something you slowly do over time. There's been like this big correction for some reason recently. Like, back in the day, no one thought about kingdom level and power. And I had to like get the word out there. Like, that's where you get stats. You got to do it. You know, at least think about it sometimes. Check on it once a month. Make sure you're doing your kingdom level and power. Nowadays, there's like an overcorrection where people are like super hyper focused on their kingdom level and power and getting crappy mythics because they need a kingdom level or power, or doing gold or soul farming because they want to level up troops for whatever reason to get a kingdom level and power. Stop being hyper focused on that. That's something you're going to do over time. You know, it's been a big overcorrection in the community with the kingdom level and power. So yeah, don't waste time soul farming, gold farming. Do Vault Event this weekend for at least 15 hours. Try to get at least 100 Vault Keys. Like, I'm going to shoot for 500. Other people shoot for 1,000. If you don't get at least 100, you're not doing it right. You know what I'm saying? Your Rowan team, your Ironhawk team, and Explorer 1, don't do anything else. And just get those Vault Keys, man. Get those Verses, run those Nomapaloozas, get those Pity Keys, and let's go. Make sure you get your class weapons while you're doing it. If you need the gold farm outside of a Vault Event, you didn't do the Vault Event right. If you need the soul farm outside of a Vault Event, you're doing something wrong. You're either like spending all your souls on dumb stuff, or you're not doing the Vault Event right. Or you're just in a weird... Some people, you know, they come into the game in a weird position in between Vault Events, and maybe they have to do it a little bit. But if you're doing it more than once or twice, if you're wasting time gold farming and soul farming, you could be doing a bunch of other stuff, especially right now during the Vault Event. If you're gold farming next week, then you didn't do this Vault Event right. You need to like learn how to do the Vault Event. It's an antiquated way to do things. It's just for views. Me saying this is hurting myself. I could make a soul farming video next week and get thousands of views. I could make a gold farming video next week and get thousands of views. That's why people do it. It's stupid. It's like an old thing that we don't do anymore, but it still gets views. So people still put out videos because they don't have your best interest at heart. All these things that I'm telling you, I have your best interest at heart. I just want you to play better and do better, and I don't want you wasting your time. So gold farming and soul farming, you're wasting your time. And that only hurts me. I can make those videos next week and get thousands of views. I know this, but I don't want to do it because I hate being dishonest. And it's not all I care about is views. I want to help people too. Alright, so teams with no hero, gold farming teams, and soul farming teams. That was number 8. Big waste of time. Alright, number 9 is the shop. The shop is a waste of time. If you're looking in here for any reason, it's a big waste of time in my opinion. The only thing you should get in here is your event keys with glory at the beginning of the week, and then your Veneratus here, your glory shop troop, and that's it. You shouldn't look at anything else in here. Everything else is overpriced and not worth it. The Warband shop, you look at that like once in the beginning of the game. You get your Clockwork Sphinx and your Goblin, and then you move on. You get these eventually, and you move on. You never look at it again, unless they bring in a new Warband. Specials are terrible. All this is terrible. Everything is terrible. So the only thing you should ever do in here is your Glory for event keys, your weekly event troop, Glory Shop troop, and, you know, if you need the trait stone in there, the Arcane Swamp trait stones. And then your war bands, like one time you get all those and you're done with it. Everything else is a complete waste of time. Big waste of money. So don't waste your time looking at the shop. It's bad. It's never going to have anything you need. And you're just wasting money. Other than those couple of things I said. Alright, we're on the last one. This one's just, I think everybody would agree with this one. We'll end on one where everybody probably agrees with it. But, I think I have to go into battle for this one. Sorry that the video wasn't like the visuals weren't super awesome. It's mostly about, this is like a podcast kind of thing. the 10 biggest wastes of time in Gems of War podcast. But in my opinion, I think everybody's opinion, I don't think this is very controversial at all, but anything under 4 times speed is a big waste of time. So make sure you have your animation speed on ×4. The only people that should have it any lower than ×4 is a complete beginner that's still trying to learn the game. And those people should try to move up to ×4 as soon as you figure the game out, as soon as you know what you're doing, as soon as possible, because you're going to get 4 times everything. Like, if you're still on ×1, you're 4 times slower than everybody else that's playing the game. Every single person in the game is on ×4. So, if you're not on ×4, you're just wasting time. You're way behind, you're going slower on purpose. So, I can do 4 battles in the time you can do 1 battle. So I'm getting ×4 everything that you're getting. So every time you get 1 battle done, I'm getting 4 battles done. And every time you get 1 gem, I'm probably getting 4 gems. And every time you get 100 gold, I'm probably getting 400 gold. Every time you get 1 vault key, I'm probably getting 4 vault keys. So make sure you have it on ×4 as soon as possible. Of course, if you're level 20, if you're level 30, you might still be on ×1 or ×2 or something. But if you're level 250, you know, put on your big boy pants and go up to ×4. Because that's where everybody else is in the entire game. This is the normal speed. ×4 is pretty much the normal speed. And everything else is like when you play on baby mode or something with ×1. I mean, I'm sure there's some exceptions out there, like people that have bad eyesight or whatever. But other than that, if you're a regular player that, is trying to play the game normally, you do ×4 speed. But yeah, that's my biggest waste of time in Gems of War. Did you disagree with any of them? We had Treasure Hunt. We had not being in a guild or starting your own guild. We had the Tower of Doom leaderboard. We had pets during the vault event. So stopping the vault event to go do a pet and get 1 copy of it. We had chat, any kind of chat, global chat, guild chat, outside external chats while you're playing the game. It just causes drama. It's just a waste of time. There's strangers licking your earlobe and telling you things that aren't true, most likely. 6 is challenges. Now, they're fine at the beginning of the game. They're fine at the very end of the game. If you're anywhere in between, though, from like level 300 to level 1250, you should not be doing challenges, instead of something else. And there's plenty of other things to do. 7 was defends. Spending any kind of extra time on defend teams, especially PvP defend teams. Don't be the sweaty wrestler. Don't come into this game trying to make people mad. You don't have to defend your kingdom or something. It's not one of those games. Nobody's going to, like, tear down all your buildings and make you rebuild them. That's not how it works. It's not a big deal if somebody beats you on defend. Like, who cares? Except for in Guild Wars when you're the Paragon or Bracket 1 or 2. But there's 90% of the people should not spend more than, like, 5 seconds on their defend teams for Guild Wars. Just do the 24 different troops. You're not going to gain points depending on how well your Guild Wars defend team does. 8 was teams with no hero / gold farming teams / soul farming teams. You're going to see teams with no hero on the internet, but you're not that guy. You don't have all the fire classes to 100. You don't have all the classes to 100. Right now on this team right here, I'm probably leveling up Assassin. It's not just the best class. I'm leveling a class. There's specific teams, of course. When I show you a team for a certain event and there's a restriction, sometimes you will have to use a certain class. Like Triple Ferocity, Rage Reaver, you have to use Shaman. Triple Finesse, Nimbus Bow, sometimes you have to use a certain class to make certain teams work. But anytime you're using like a gold farm, like the Skeleton Key team here, or your Rowan team, any like catch-all team that doesn't need a specific class, make sure you're leveling some sort of class and you're using your hero. 9 was the shop. So all that is a big waste of money and a big waste of time, except for the couple of things I mentioned. And 10 was any speed under ×4. I think if you're using ×1, ×2, ×3, then you're just making everything take longer. So go to ×4. That's where everybody else is, and get some gems. But that's it for today. Definitely let me know in the comments which one you disagreed with. Let me know if there's any that I forgot to say. There probably is. But yeah, your top 10 biggest waste of time in Gems of War. Put something in the comments. Let me know. Even if you just hate one of them and you want to yell at me, I don't care. Maybe I said a word wrong. Put that in there. I don't care. Like, share, subscribe, consider joining. It helps a lot. Tell your good about the channel, comment below, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.